So that's a wrap on the key selector features of jQuery that you need to know about to get started. Selectors are where it starts. You can't really do anything useful with jQuery unless you get good at selectors. So as a quick recap, we've talked about how to find tags. Simply pass in the tag name into the $function method. We've also talked about different ID selectors, class selectors, and the different characters you'd use, such as the hash or the pound. And we've also talked about the dot for class selection. Some other characters we just talked about in the last section of this module were the caret, the dollar, and the star for starts with, ends with, and contains. And those are very useful in cases where you need to search for specific string values, and starts with or ends with. We've also talked about how you can find input elements. We've talked about how you can go in and then filter on those, and how that returns not only input tags, but how it returns things such as text areas and selects. And I showed you during that demo how you could use the val function in jQuery to easily get the values out of a form tag or element that you want to get to. So as I mentioned, mastering selectors in jQuery really and truly is key to being good at jQuery. You have to get good at selectors and practice these in order to be able to use it and work with it. Now fortunately, there are some sites out there that'll make it easy for you to practice some of this without having to do your own HTML like I've been doing to this point. And one of those sites I'd like to show you now. It's super easy to work with and makes it really nice to test out your jQuery selector knowledge. So the URL for this site is codylindley.com/jQuery selectors, and it's one I always show in our jQuery classes that makes it really easy to work with things. So what it allows you to do is you can come up here in the top area and you can actually input expressions and type your own. So this would say go find an LI, which would be in an unordered list. You can see we have some here, and go find nth child 2. So if we hit toggle, it'll actually go in, and you'll notice we in this case it starts with 1, so we come in 1, 2, and then we also add a second level. There's 1, 2 of that one, and you can toggle those on and off to make it really easy to know if your expression is working. If I just wanted to go find all divs, then I can just toggle all divs that are in my particular page. Maybe I want to find the first div. So another way we can do that is, as shown in the earlier demo, we could say equals 0, come toggle, and there it is. Okay, or you could do the nth child, as they just showed earlier. You can also come down, and over here is all your HTML that you can work with. They have all kinds of stuff down here, but as you scroll down here, we can now find all code tags, so we can toggle. All right, there's some code tags in there, and then you can even go to documentation directly about using element selectors, so they make it really convenient to be able to work with those. Here's an example of ID selectors. Okay, here's class selectors that we talked about. This finds everything. The star is, in this case, not super useful because it highlights every single thing. Here's an example of highlighting a tag, an ID selector, and a class selector, and highlighting those. So I'll let you play with it, but it's something that's very, very useful as you want to experiment with the different characters and things you can work with in jQuery. And they even cover some of the ones that you won't use quite as much. Some of the ones down here as an example. So I'll let you play with that. So definitely get good at working with selectors. They're very, very key. And that's a wrap on this particular module.